Ed Gonzalez, Harris County Sheriff, joined here by several of our leaders. We have Lieutenant Bruce immediately to my right, Lieutenant Vinegary, and then Lieutenant Cook as well to my left. Very horrific situation out here, very tragic. Been in this business for a long time, and I had never heard a scenario like this. It really caught me by surprise. What we have right here is we have an apartment unit. It appears to be where 3 juveniles were left abandoned pretty much. I'm told they range in ages from 15, 10, and 7 years old. They've been here for an extended period of time. At the same time, we also have the skeletal remains of what appears to be a juvenile. It appears to have been there for also an extended period of time. We don't know how long. That'll be part of the forensic investigation. We don't know the exact age, but we anticipate again that it's the skeletal remains for a juvenile. And other than that, right now, it's just very preliminary information. We're trying to identify next of kin to determine exactly what's happened and how we got to this point. But again, a very horrific set of circumstances. And so, very troubled by all this. Our members are troubled by it, but, we're going to make sure we do everything we can to make sure we conduct a thorough follow-up investigation, make sure that the kids are okay. This will be a follow-up investigation involving multiple agencies because we also have juveniles involved. So that's what we have right now.
Very sad and tragic news in Houston, Texas. You heard Sheriff Ed Gonzalez there talking about the scene that the authorities were alerted to by one of the children living in that household, the oldest child, the 15-year-old. As he stated, the kids were 15, 10, and 7 and called 911 and said, our other sibling is dead in the other room. And when they came, they found that the kids were alone, malnourished, physical injuries, and no adults in sight, no parents in sight. The mother and her boyfriend were said to be just off, out and about, doing whatever. And based on the investigation, it's being reported that it seems that these kids were basically just fending for themselves, that the oldest one was trying his best to take care of the other siblings. And it's very disturbing. They're trying to understand, as he was not locked in, that the kids were not locked in there, but they're trying to understand why it took them so long to call the authorities, because at this point they finally, reached out for help, and, they don't know why the kids didn't sooner. They don't even know if these kids were enrolled in school. They were just abandoned alone. Very, very sad, tragic story. Now, since the original reports of this, as this happened yesterday, it is reported that they found the mother and boyfriend. CPS interviewed them and everything, but it's kind of odd here, as the media is going off what the sheriff's department is reporting. The Sheriff Gonzalez reported that they believe the child to have been dead for a year. You know what I mean? Not just decomposing, a skeleton. Very, very sad once again. But for some reason, the media seems to kind of be fabricating a bit of the story here, as the sheriff updated and stated, as I said, about, the time period, that it was a year, but also said that the mother and boyfriend were located and being interviewed, and it's still an ongoing investigation. The media reported that they were located, interviewed, and released. So when the sheriff's saying they're being interviewed or whatever, I haven't seen him say anything to the effect that they were released. I don't see how that could be possible. It just would make no sense. But the media has kind of took that and ran with that and said that they were indeed released, which just common sense tells you how can that be? How could they find 4 kids, 1 deceased, a skeleton, dead for a year, and 3 other kids starving, abandoned, injured, alone, and then they find the adults, the mother and her boyfriend, and just let them go. It just doesn't make sense. But for some reason, the media is taking that and running with that. But this is once again, this is in Houston. Comment, share your thoughts on this, and subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for updates.